Hey, good morning, friends. Good morning, veterans and family members. Welcome to this week's Facebook Live. I'm veteran coach Jen McDonald. I am here today with my very good friend, Coach Tim Rogers. We've got some pretty interesting content today. We are going to be kind of hitting on veterans and mental health through the holidays and how to kind of watch for and be cognizant of some mental health struggles and trying to just be healthy and stay healthy through the holidays. So we've got some great content. We're so excited that you're here with us. As always, we'd love you to check in. Use the comment section. Let us know where you're checking in from. Let us know if you're already a VACI Elite member, give your coach a shout out. Let us know a little bit about your service. And once we get through some of our content, we'll be doing question and answer just like we always do. So no holds barred. Please feel free to ask questions and we'll get to that. So with that, I'd love to introduce my great friend, Coach Tim, and give you the opportunity to kind of tell us a little bit about your background and what brought you to VACI.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Coach Jen. It's, of course, thank all the veterans for joining us today. Coach Jen said we have some great content about mental health, especially during the holiday season, which we know can be challenging. So, yeah, I'm a Army retired veteran. I served for just a little over 30 years. Assigned all over the world, all over the states. During that time, deployed to multiple combat zones. But yeah, eventually retired in 2021 from the Army, and actually not long after that, about a couple of years later, trying to figure out my VA claims and how to go through that process, I became a VA Claims Insider Elite member. Right, so I did that earlier this year, and then of course, as when you become a elite member, you're assigned a coach. And that coach just happened to be my good friend here, Coach Jen, became my coach. So we, went through a strategy session, which we'll cover all this, in a minute. But we went through a great strategy session, some great education. Coach Jen was able to coach and educate me through my claims process, which happened to be a mental health claim. Right. So that mental health claim went great and got that win. Right. Got that PTSD rating that I was looking for. So. And I always, again, thank you, Coach Jen. So that's, I couldn't have done it without you. So, and then, just a month later, without even telling Coach Jen, I had the opportunity to become a veteran coach. So I saw that opportunity and wanted to carry on that great coaching and education to my fellow veterans out there. And I got that opportunity, and here I am. So I'm just so blessed to be able to do that and privileged. And it's just amazing getting to talk with veterans every day. Knowing the struggles that I went through filing VA claims and being able to, just that continue that, great coaching and education that I had received, and passing that along is amazing. So I appreciate Coach Jen.
And pay it forward. What is one of the cool things about our friendship and getting to work together prior to you joining the team is, being primarily virtual, we VA Claims Insider, we're up in the interwebs, right? We interact virtually, via email, over the phone, through Insider Portal with our veterans, and we don't often get a good opportunity to interact with, to see, to hang out with, to give a hug to, shake hands, make eye contact with a lot of our veterans. So when we get that opportunity, it's really powerful. But when I had the opportunity to start our process together and do our first strategy session and hear from you, I would really like to do what you do. How did you get into doing this and having that conversation? And not only getting to go through the process with you to identify your strategy, put you on the path to developing your education, your confidence, going through the process, but then to be able to have you join our team. And the funny thing was that you're in training and I get a message from the trainer saying, right, you know this guy? And I'm like, yeah, I know this name. Why would you? Yeah, he's in my training right now. And it was so cool. It was so heartwarming. And then fast forward to San Antonio when I got to meet you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And actually give you a hug and I mean, it's been so progressive and fulfilling on so many. And then you got your win, and really did that for
life changing. That's the thing about it. That's all life changing. I'm sure many of the veterans out there have won claims before that are here today, but it's just life changing when you get that VA rating and see what that benefit is. What I know I deserve for all those years, but maybe held off or didn't want to do for whatever personal reasons, right? And so, but yeah, so when I was able to meet you in San Antonio, that was awesome. Yeah, I all purposely didn't mention anything to you about it because you're busy. You're a veteran coach, right? We're on calls all throughout the day, so I didn't want to bug you with that. So, but I knew that would get passed along. It was a great surprise, so that was awesome.
Always bug me. Always. I'm watching my texts, and what is super cool. We have and you've probably encountered this. We have so many veterans that we work with. They want to know, how do I do what you do? What you do seems like so fulfilling. I want to pay it forward. I want to be able to help my fellow veterans. So, we hear it all the time, and so many of our coaches are previous clients, previous elite members. Yeah. And it's a great place to start because you really understand the whole big picture of what it is we do.
Yeah, and exactly. And we're talking from start to finish, right? Yeah. All the way through, right? So that's the amazing thing about it. It's empowering, right? So going through that process for where I was prior to meeting you and VA Claims Insider, that empowerment, that education, right? Not only did I knew my claim intimately, I knew exactly everything about it. So when I went to my CMP exam, right, I was able to, do an amazing job there and felt confident walking out of that. And so, of course, that's important, right? That's what that education part is, right? That great coaching and education.
And did you feel supported? I mean, you were doing it. You were doing the CMP. You were doing the evidence development. You were doing those steps. But did you feel like you were in it alone? Did you feel like you were, kind of, what was that experience like going through the process with a coach?
No, I think for me, it felt like I was, very easy because not only did I have a, great coach, right? And you, who was, we would schedule calls, right? Our strategy session or our claim build, or if I had a quick call, whatever it was, but I had a great EPC, right? So I had my elite program coordinator was always there so that, I think there was a time where I had gotten a short notification of my CMP exam and I wasn't able to reach you because you're busy. And, but I did reach it, but I got through your EPC and scheduled my stuff to the EPC, which was really easy because the EPC can reach out to the coach, because they're working intimately together, and was able to, find a time where you and I could link up just prior to going into that CFP. So I got some great, exam education there. Yeah. And so to me, it's like there was no turn in the corner where I couldn't say, I've got a question. What's going on? I don't understand this. What's happening? And you're like, yep, let's talk about it. Let's coach. Come on, let's get some coaching going. Do we need to look at the strategy again? What's going on here? Because me, I'm a stubborn. I'm a stubborn.
You are stubborn. I've learned that.
I think stubborn, but I had to stop and just listen to what you were saying, and it was good, right? So I'm stubborn.
I love the opportunity to give the EPCs a shout out. The elite program coordinators, the coaches cannot do what they do without the support and the coordination that the elite program coordinators provide. The excellent support and communication. Their knowledge is second to none. Coaches, and we'll go kind of in a minute, we'll kind of go through the outline of how the program works, but right. Coaches coach, I'm helping my vets with identifying their strategy, giving them recommendations on what's the best type of evidence to develop. Where do you start? What do they need to know? So that's all what you get from the coach. I like to tell my vets, listen, I'm your coach, but your EPC is your cruise director. They're here to support your experience and to make sure that I'm where I need to be, you're where you need to be. And our entire program is coming together at the veteran level. So the EPCs are my keyboard, my mouse, and literally every ounce of organization that I could potentially have. They take care of everything. And for the veterans as well.
It starts out with the welcome, usually the first thing they're going to see is that, a veteran, when they, get in with VA Claims Insider and they start getting everything all set up, they're going to get that warm welcome, right? So they get that warm welcome, not just from, the veteran coach, from the EPC, right? The elite program coordinator reaching out to them. So, and it starts off with that welcome call, right? And you talk about developing that initial strategy and, finding out, where are you from? Talking to the veteran, what years did you serve? What type of conditions, were you denied, something. So it all starts out from the beginning of just setting up. And I know, like I said, we'll talk about it in a minute, but just sets up that great welcomes, kind of sets up for that next step into the strategy, right? So it's not just, hey, what are you doing? Let's move forward, right? It's more intimate to that, right? I'm talking to another veteran that served just like I did. And so that is just so rewarding to be able to get to know them, right? And get to know their story. And that's important for me. And I know it's important for all of our veteran coaches, actually. We talk about it on a daily basis, right? So,
yes. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and get our disclaimer out of the way because we want to clarify who and what, who we are and what we do, and make sure that there's no gray area with regard to that. And then we're going to jump into give a brief outline because I think we've just done a really good job of kind of supporting our the getting started part. And then we'll jump into our content. So just our disclaimer. We are not accredited agents, VSOs, attorneys, or any other entity recognized by the Department of Veterans Affairs, and we're not affiliated with the VA in any way. VA Claims Insider is an education-based company for disabled veterans exploring eligibility for increased VA disability benefits and who wish to learn more about that process. VA Claims Insider also connects veterans with vetted independent medical professionals in our preferred provider network for medical examinations and independent medical opinions for a wide range of disability conditions. So we are veteran coaches. We're not VSOs. We're not accredited agents. We're not attorneys. We are like personal trainers for your VA disability benefits. So you come to us with your goals, the current situation. What are your questions? Am I underrated? Do I deserve more? How do I get started? And we look at the big picture with you and help you to identify the best strategy for potential success. And I'll tell you that very often the strategy is not what the veteran's coming to us with. I need to be service connected for my knee. I hurt my knee 35 years ago in the Army, and I need to service connect that knee. You know what? Your coach is going to give you a totally different perspective to start with, to get your foot in the door and to establish high value before you even go back and consider that knee. That may be the last ditch effort, but it's really important when you're working with a coach to allow yourself to be open to perspective and strategy. And strategy is the platform of our SEM method. So we will preach strategy, education, and medical evidence. You'll hear it ad nauseum. Strategy, education, and medical evidence. This is the key to really developing success. You're playing chess with the VA. So knowing what their next move is so that you can be ahead of that move with your evidence and your level of preparedness is vital. When you first join the organization, and again, we're going to be brief on this because we really want to get to our content, but I know there's a lot of veterans that are considering maybe becoming an elite member. So when you first join, you could go through a veteran ambassador, and a discovery call with a veteran ambassador will help you to identify, is this program right for me? Do I need a coach? Is this something that is actually going to help me? So you can have a conversation with a veteran ambassador and ask a lot of questions to identify, yep, I need a coach, or no, actually, I'm sitting pretty good. Schedule that call. It's a brief call. And at that point, once you decide, they'll help you out with actually joining the program. Once you've joined the program, you're going to get assigned to a coach in EPC. Your EPC is going to reach out and help you with those onboarding steps. Setting up your insider portal, sharing some pre-strat documentation that's going to help your coach to be prepared for your first call. An invitation to an orientation session. That orientation session is vital. It's going to help you really understand the specifics of the program. And then your strategy call with your coach. That's where we start pulling triggers. Do you want to kind of give a little overview of kind of how that strategy session goes, Tim?
Yeah, so the strategy session, and it leads, like I said before, kind of leads off of that welcome call, right? So, initially talking with that veteran, kind of getting an idea of what claims they have filed in the past. Maybe they were denied something. Maybe there's a new condition. Maybe they've never filed a claim. Just kind of getting that background, right? So getting that information and then having that veteran be able to go in there and provide whatever documentation they might have now currently. right? What did they have? And then going through a deep dive, right? And being able to see what maybe medical evidence they're missing, maybe where medical evidence they can actually obtain. But it's just closing gaps, right? It's just closing that gap so that veteran can have a direction, a way to go, right, in the VA claims process. And that's what's important, like you said, with that strategy. And then it goes into on that strategy starts with education, right? So for me, it was important to know as a veteran what my claim was, all about it, right? Nobody should care more about their claim than a veteran should, right? Me personally, I took it personal that yes, I was getting great coaching from Jen, but I needed to know, and she was telling me all about my condition, right? What is about my condition? How does the VA rate my condition? What are the symptoms that are involved in my condition, right? For truly understanding those. So that's all part of that, and portion of that strategy, right? Is educating that veteran, allowing them to be empowered on that, so that as they go forward in their claim process, especially through the CNP exam, for me, um, it's important. It's very so important for that strategy and then the education stuff. So, but that's where that strategy leads. And then of course, the veteran coach will schedule follow up. Get a hold of the veteran to maybe do another strategy as the veteran is developing their claim. But it's just an ongoing process. It's until that claim is filed, and then there's a win. So.
Yeah, so our process is super cut and dry. You're going to start with the strategy session with your coach. Your coach is going to give you the different education resources. We're going to strongly encourage you to attend our classes. So the program consists of your coach and EPC, the print and video resources, and a huge component, a common regular theme as a member of the elite program is going to be attending those classes. Okay, so, hearing the different coach perspectives, hearing examples from other veterans, hearing veterans ask questions and get their clarifications, that the value in our classes is inexplicable. The value is there. And that's your CMP education. It's not only, helping you understand what you need to know going into your claim and your potential CMP, but also prepping you for that CMP exam. So you're prepared with a level of confidence. It's going to help you in just lists of ways. So we do offer a class. We offer 3 classes a day. We've got video resources in the Insider portal that are proprietary, that are not just regular YouTube videos that we put out there. And although we do have hundreds of YouTube videos that are free to the public, and then the resources that your coach identifies as specific to you. And again, your EPC is going to be an active participant in all of this. I tell my veterans, you and I and your EPC, we're a dynamic trio. We're getting bleep done. And we're doing the heavy lifting. You're doing the heavy lifting. I'm doing the coaching. Pick that up, put that down.
Mm-hmm.
See, yeah. Working.
Those resources inside there, like I said, just inside there alone, just the resources inside of VA Claims Insider portal. I think I watched every possible video that was out there, right? Watching Brian. And I remember the first thing he said was, get your butt to the doctor, right? So, and that's exactly what I did. And so, those resources that are in there are invaluable. Just saying.
And I'll tell you, speaking of get your butt to the doctor, current medical evidence is going to be, here's just a little tidbit that jumped into my head. Current medical evidence is going to be significantly more valuable to your claims and your claim process than your military records. Believe it. Trust me on that one. So we've given you a little bit, kind of talked about Tim's experience joining the program, going through his process, and then a kind of an overview of how to get started. So a discovery call with a veteran ambassador, or if you want to, hey, I want Coach Jen to be my coach, you can use my link, and Kat will throw my link and Tim's link in the chat a couple times throughout this presentation. But if you want to join and just have one of us be your coach, come on board. We're happy to have you.
Yeah, come on board.
Yeah. So let's get to our content. It's the holiday season right now. I'm actually coming to you live from the Griswold house.
Uh-oh.
Actually, we're McDonald's, but we're a little over the top.
Yeah.
But it is the holiday season, and though it's supposed to be a season of joy and excitement, there's Mental health is a thing, and that's not the experience for everyone. That's not the experience for, although mental health affects everyone. We are speaking specifically to the veteran demographic, veterans who are diagnosed with service-connected for, undiagnosed issues. Symptoms are symptoms. Dealing with depression, anxiety, insomnia, irritability, social impairments. These are real. And this time of year, we tend to see that it gets a little bit worse, not only because of the holidays, but because this is the dark season. Right. There's so much less daylight. Veterans, and it's colder out in certain areas. So people are staying home more. They're less social. They're less interactive. People that are typically visiting are not out and visiting right now, not spending as much time together. So this is a time where we see an uptick in the severity of mental health symptoms. Also with caregivers, family members. Listen, I have a son and a husband who are service connected and diagnosed with mental health issues. And I see this every year, not only their standard symptoms and impairments, but here we are in the dark season, and it's really a lot more precarious than other periods of the year. Let's think about triggers, New Year's Eve, fireworks. These are things that a lot of combat veterans have issues with. So you just really want to make sure that with your loved ones and with yourself. And Tim, I know that you are diagnosed with and suffer from and navigate the PTSD symptoms. So I kind of just want you to talk about, for you, what do you do to prepare for the potential dive? Just kind of self-care and preparedness when you feel like the deep dive is coming.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's right. It's a lot of self-reflection, right? And self-care. And then I've, learned to be able to, put myself in good positions to not do that. So I don't go to the mall necessarily, unfortunately, in the holiday season, right? But it's always just preparing myself like I would in the military, right? It's like preparing myself to know that what can I not handle? I know what triggers are for me. In what situations, but it's also surrounding me with family. So having that great family support instead of isolating myself, which I had a tendency to do for a long time, was learning how what they call coping, right? So how to cope with that, which was do the opposite and be with my family. And so in an intimate, setting, and that just helps prevent any kind of episodes that I might have, And unfortunately, it's something you go through on it. You have to prepare yourself for that, which, it's just the reality of it. And so, but that's really what I do is, surround myself with, great family, and then just prepare myself for knowing what those areas over the years that caused me issues and limit those or set myself up in a good situation to get there. So that's really what's been helpful for me. So
self-care is vital. And there are a lot of people that, just aren't aware of how do I take care of me? Because especially for veterans, taking care of me, that's not my focus. Taking care of the people around me, that's what I need to do. But also identifying and allowing yourself to recognize that these are symptoms. This is something that I can have some measure of control over. But a lot of people, you just can't. The depression, it takes, I always say, for the most part, we've got a grip on our mental health, but there's that period when your mental health has a grip on you that you have to be able to recognize. And I also kind of want to talk about, the caregivers. There are veterans who are in nursing homes. There are veterans who are homebound. There are veterans who are in the hospital, and they're not getting, the interaction and the support. And I actually come from a background of healthcare, dealing with veterans who were homebound and isolated themselves, didn't allow their loved ones to come around, didn't want to interact. I'm just better off by myself. Sometimes that is that measure of self-care. I know I'm in that deep dive. I need to be by myself. So you have to be really cognizant of what is going to benefit that individual the most. And you also need to, as a caregiver, as the wife and mom of veterans who have their mental health issues and tend to dive at this time of year, I have to make sure that I'm not overwhelming myself and making myself unhealthy trying to support them. I know they need their space. I know that, me trying to be more loving and more smothering is not what's best for them. It took me a long time to realize that, because I could really set somebody off with a big old hug at the wrong time.
Right.
So it's just really, as the loved one of someone who experiences and navigates these issues, you really got to be able to read, but also take care of you while you're trying to take care of them, so that during this period of time, everybody's aware and everybody can maintain health as best they can. We don't want to trigger anybody by spending too much time on this. I want anybody who is cognizant of, listen, I have PTSD. I have significant insomnia. I know that I have some depressive features. I know that my anxiety tends to pop off this time of year. I saw somebody just posted that this is the worst time of year for me. I went off on people at a clinic yesterday. Mm-hmm. You're irritable. People are not cognizant of what's going on around them. And for someone with anxiety, and especially in military, like military people already don't relate to people who don't have that background. So different situations in this time of year can really set someone off. So I'm just trying to be prepared. I want everybody to write down, if you can, text yourself the Veteran Crisis Line information. Okay. You can call 988 and press 1 if you feel like you're in a situation where I don't want anybody to say anything to me. I just need to hear a voice. I just need to get out of this mindset I'm in right now. Dial 988 and press 1. You can text 838-255. Okay. You can text them, hey, you can text them a bad word. You can text them a certain finger. Send a text and they will reach out to you. They will be there to chat with you. Even if you just want to talk about how burnt your meatloaf was for Christmas, just get yourself out of that space and talk to somebody. You don't have to dive into the symptoms. Just hear a voice or talk to somebody to get your mind out of that space. So if you didn't write those down, I'm going to say it again. Oh, it's right there on the screen. Mm-hmm. Dial 988 and press 1 or text 838-255. Family members, you can do the same thing. Caregivers can call 988 and press 1 or text 838-255 and ask for help. I'm dealing with a veteran who's experiencing this behavior right now. How can I help? What should I do?
Yeah, encourage all of our, anybody out there, but our fellow veterans, we talk about it, they're called buddy checks, right? So doing your buddy checks through the holidays, right? So, and something I used to do a lot. I need to get back into it more. Is like, and I think Jen, you mentioned before, those folks that are in nursing homes, going out and visiting our, folks in the nursing home, our Korean War vets and our Vietnam War vets, and talking to them during the holidays. It's huge. That's a buddy check, right? That's, to me, as a veteran checking on another veteran. So, encourage you to reach out to your buddy veterans after this time of year and, talk about, how the season's going and reaching out, so that, that's so important, is, talking and, having that good relationship over the holidays. I know it helps me. It helps me a lot when my veteran buddies reach out to me and we talk about stuff. So, yeah.
For sure. And just one more special consideration. We've got a lot of active duty military that are coming home for Christmas, a lot that are not. And we always want to keep them in mind. But let's think about the ones that are coming home for Christmas that have been living maybe overseas, maybe on base, living that military mindset, that day-to-day military lifestyle. And they're coming home to loosey-goosey, I'm in mom's house, or, coming home to wife and kids after, for a Christmas break. That transition is hard. It's hard emotionally. And when you find that your active duty service member comes home and you want all this time with them and they need to sleep, that sleep really helps with that transition. It helps that transition from yesterday in this situation to today at mom's house, or Christmas shopping on Black Friday, or whoops, that was last month. Oh my gosh.
That's self-care. You're right. You're reflecting on that. It's that self-care, right? So I don't know how many times I came back from a deployment like that and learning that transition from home. Things were being different back there for 1 year while I was gone, right? Mom was taking care of everything. And so come back and do that transition and getting that that rest and coming back into life and enjoying the little things that I didn't enjoy. So that's, it's huge, right? So self-care in that situation. Let sleep. do what you need to do to come back in. You don't need to come back in 100 miles an hour.
Feed them, just enjoy having them in the house. Don't try to, make them engage. Let them ease into that transition. It'll make the transition so much healthier for them as best we can. As best we can.
Support.
Do you have any on that? Again, like I said, I don't want it can be kind of a downer to talk about this, and I don't want to do that. We're going into Christmas, we're going into what should be a pretty joyous season. It can be difficult for some people, so we just want to make sure that caregivers and veterans are aware and can watch and know what the resources are.
Right. No, yeah, and so talking uplifting stuff, right? So this is that time of year, right, where you're going into the new year, right? So get on your VA claims, right? That's some will cheer you up right there. Go after your VA claims, right? So many times, I don't know, especially me, and I've talked to other veterans, they're like, oh, I didn't file my claims because somebody else deserves it more than I do. No, you deserve to file your VA claim. It's by law. Go after your VA claims. Never quit. I preach that every time I talk. You never quit. Going to the new year, looking to been trying to pursue a VA claim for many years. Go after that. Do it.
Yeah.
Just get your follow through and do
it. The follow through is it's not just the compensation. It's that I mean you can define it better than I can. You did the work. You stayed committed. You poured fuel on your tenacity fire, and you achieved success and are staying in the fight. So I think that on my end, I'm not a veteran. I'm the daughter, wife, and mother of Marine vets. My stepfather, my father-in-law are Vietnam vets. Veterans are my people. Professionally, I have worked with veterans, and my path has brought me here to continue to be able to have a role in supporting significant life change for our nation's veterans.
That's really important.
I don't experience that. I don't experience the veteran achieving that success, especially because it shouldn't be this hard. It shouldn't be this hard for a veteran to achieve what it is that they deserve. But it is hard, and there is resistance, and a strategy is going to be so much help towards achieving that success that the outcome for you is so many different levels.
Yeah, I agree. And then for you, like you, Coach Jen, come in and say, okay, Tim, so where's your medical evidence? I'm like, huh? Right? No, what's medical evidence? And in doing a deep dive into that medical evidence.
Well, and you said I don't have my military records. I'm not talking about your military records. We don't need them.
Right. Exactly. So it's just like, okay, so what do I do? The medical evidence is huge. So I need to get that medical evidence. Right. And so once you get that through my head, for me personally, right, and then medical evidence in there, it's just moving on to that step, right? So that medical evidence wins claims, and we'll hear it over and over and over again. And a great strategy is a great strategy, but medical evidence wins your claims. So,
yes, for sure. Let's jump into our questions. Not a great segue, but I think we've got a lot of good questions in the chat. I want to. Steve Lant just said, "God bless the families of veterans. They had to put up with all our BS." Preach.
Yeah, exactly.
Preach.
Yeah.
Really, I'm so proud. I'm proud of my family members. I'm proud of the veterans in my community. I am so proud that it is truly an honor and a privilege to be able to do what I do every day. It truly is. So I'm grateful for what you did, and I am happy to do what I can to help to facilitate what you deserve, achieving what you deserve.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I go back, my father is a Vietnam veteran, right? So I got to experience that stuff, even before I became a veteran myself. So yeah, thank you for everything you did, your service you did. It's sometimes it went unthankless, but we appreciate it a lot.
For real. I am looking at one of our regulars, USMC Farrell. I think every Facebook Live that I get the opportunity to do, I think he's here. I know he's an active client. I've seen him in our classes as well. Got myself to 30% in stop there. I had no idea about secondary claims. Secondaries are bread and butter, and in a lot of cases, they are significant value. I will tell you that working in real time, health conditions that you're dealing with right now today that are being caused by or contributed to by your already service connected conditions, so much easier to win versus spanning decades back to your active duty service. Finding those records are going to be hard. How many of you, let's see, raise of hands, how many of you went to the doctor while you were on active duty? Oh, none of you? You're I mean, it's very uncommon. It's very common that I have veterans who come to me and say, I didn't see medical when I was on active duty. I have no military medical records. That's okay. That is okay. There is a strategy to get you started. And once you're started, you're building using your overall health. So Farrell, thank you so much for hitting on the secondaries, because secondaries, I'm telling you, it's where it's at. It's where it's at.
Absolutely. Another question is this: how do I get more percentage? I have 60%. How do I get a coach? Well, we kind of talked about that, right? You want a coach, you got the link that they post on. You can, go in there for Coach Jen, and Coach Jen would be able to do a strategy session, because that's what they're going to talk about is that percentage, right? Where are you currently at? And then what might be out there that you're looking to file with conditions, and then be able to look at that. But to get a coach, you can do a discovery call if you like. But there's a link down there. You can sign up with Coach Jen or Coach Tim, and then we can better serve that with a call as a member through a strategy session. That is the way to do it. Get a coach, sign up, and then get that great strategy and education, and then look at where you can move from 60%.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, that's exactly it. When I have a veteran, my strategies are totally different. And I assume that maybe for you too. When I have a veteran who's coming, who's not service connected, and we're just getting started, versus a veteran who's coming to me at 30, 50, 90, what my strategy is completely different. But when you're coming to me at 60%, the first thing I'm looking at is, what are you already rated for? I'm not even looking at your DD-214 first. I'm looking at, what are you already rated for? Are you rated accurately? And what secondaries are commonly connected here? Then I'm going to look at your DD-214 and your medical records. But I mean, my strategy is very different for a veteran who's already on the board versus somebody who's still trying to get their first rating.
And that's why the coaching is so good, because that's exactly, I do the exact same thing, right? So that's what, and because you're looking at that increase, especially if there's something out there that might be something you can look for an increase. It's a high value, right? So important to do that. I do the same thing.
I am going to skip a little bit to, it was Kodiak. I'm always easily irritated and have no patience for people, even my wife. Tinnitus is so bad and I'm getting headaches. Listen, I have so much to say to you. I have
charged. I'm with you.
I already have, I mean, I have a significantly high value strategy for you. You're speaking my language. You're talking about anxiety and irritability. You're speaking of the ringing in the ears. You're speaking of headaches and migraines. I mean, there's so much value there. There is so much value there. If you're not already service connected, you should be, and you should be building off of that. There's a ton of potential. I'm waiting for the new year before going through my mental health claim. Did my intent to file with the VA. Already connected with a coach. Well done. You are on the path to success and high value. Absolutely. I've got a few entries in my medical records about anger management, alcohol abuse. What's my chances? This is the same veteran, Kodiak 536. Supporting medical evidence is vital. You want to see the doctor before you file a claim. You want to have not only a formal diagnosis, but you want to have the specifics documented. So for mental health, what are your more severe symptoms? Talk through scenarios. This is what my anger looks like. This is what it looks like when I'm at work, and my productivity and my focus and how I play well with my coworkers or lack thereof. You got to give them a big picture, and having that developed prior to submitting your claim is supporting evidence, because the VA is going to ask you a lot of questions. They're going to give you the opportunity in a CMP exam to talk about your symptoms and talk about the severity, but that's you versus the VA, right? when you have supporting evidence, that helps significantly to support the accuracy of your rating. It also can help to establish that nexus. If you've got significant chronic pain and it is contributing in a major way to your irritability, your sleep, your level of depression, you got to talk through that with your doctor, because that can help to support that nexus. When you get to the nexus reviewer, if you're going to Telemedica for an IMO, you've already got some evidence that you can hand over to that provider for them to consider when they're putting that nexus statement together for you. So what's your chances for your claim? With supporting evidence, it's significantly higher than just going in and claiming your condition, claiming mental health. You've probably got a formal diagnosis. Your doctor has talked about explosive anger. That's really good supporting evidence. You still have to execute at a CMP in all likelihood, but I mean, it's definitely higher than somebody who's just walking in off the street with the same claim.
Absolutely. And then of course, if you have a great coach, if you're already an elite member, reach out to your coach, because you can continue to go through everything you're discussing there. Right. So it really requires looking at that, talking one-on-one. But if you don't have a coach, really get linked up with a coach, because you can go over everything that you're discussing there, because those are all great documentations in your medical records. But we don't know everything. Right. So there might be more in there. You might have more evidence you don't realize. So link up with a coach, get that strategy session, and that'll take you a long way for your claim.
I love Lawrence Pina's question, and I'm glad that he kind of opened this door. Now, Lawrence says, if I submit a claim for sleep apnea in October but haven't gotten a rating, would I fall under the new sleep apnea rating criteria, or would I fall in the current? So when you achieve your rating for sleep apnea based on when you filed, well, let me back up. I'm going to go with sleep apnea right now. The VA has proposed certain rating criteria changes. They have not been approved. They're looking at potentially making these proposed changes, and there's a pretty significant list, but they're right now proposed to be active June of 2025. But we don't have a solid date. They're still in the proposal stage. Nothing has been decided 100% yet. So we are proceeding just as we always have. There's no sense of urgency to get sleep apnea in right now. The VA is going to let us know what we need to know, and we'll advise our vets from there when and if there is a sense of urgency. For right now, if your claim is already filed and pending, even if it's not decided until after the changes come out, you're still going to be rated under the current criteria. And the VA will do their due diligence to make sure that veterans know that the change is upcoming, and as will we. So for anyone who's, they're proposing to take tinnitus away. They're making proposals to change mental health that actually could potentially benefit veterans to be rated more significantly, higher ratings, a little more easily with less resistance. These proposals are still just proposals. So we are proceeding just as we always have. So your claim that was filed in October, if this review is successful, you'll still be rated under the current criteria. Long story long.
You put it to exactly how it needs to be put, right? And then I'll just go into another question, because this has come up multiple times, so I'll cover it again. But how do I link up with the coach? Right, we kind of covered this, right? You're currently at 30%. You're looking to, where can I move forward, right? Well, there you go. There's a link in there. Coach Jen has a link. If you want to, link up with the coach, click on Coach Jen's link, and you can sign right up with Coach Jen, and Coach Jen can take you by the wing.
And let me tell you, I've always wanted a veteran client named Popo.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That's what I want for Christmas. I want a veteran client named Popo.
Yeah, and that link is in there, or you can do a discovery call. You can discovery talk to one of our ambassadors. They're amazing. But that's how you link up with the coach, right? Just click on that, go in there, read through everything, sign up, and then you'll be scheduled a coach and an EPC, and the ball will be rolling.
I love this opportunity to address Steve Lance's question. I'm nervous about my telemedicine psych eval. How can I best prepare? Listen, the best way to prepare is to practice. So knowing what the VA is needs to know from you. The DBQs list the 31 symptoms that is the rating criteria. And understanding so those are all clinical terms, but breaking those down and understanding exactly what the VA needs to know from you. They need to know, first and foremost, they need to know what's the overall impact. So occupational and social impairment. Is your job affected by your actions, thoughts, and behaviors, your relationships, your day-to-day tasks, to include hygiene, feeding the dogs, making sure the kids don't just have to have cereal 3 meals a day. And you know what? We've all been there. My kids have had cereal 3 meals a day based on my mental health. So I'm not trying to guilt anybody on that. It might just be my parenting. Maybe it wasn't my mental health alone. But social impairments, they're looking for the big picture, and you need to be very vulnerable. You need to be able to express what your worst day looks like emotionally. Again, for the most part, we've got a grip on our mental health. You need to take the days that your mental health has a grip on you to that exam. You need to be able to talk through it. You have to be vulnerable. You have to be open. You have to talk about intrusive thoughts. People don't talk about that. When you have suicidal or homicidal ideations popping into your head, you don't turn to the guy next to you and say, guess what I'm thinking about? You don't do that. But that's what you need to do. You need to share that so that they know exactly how impairing and disabling these symptoms are. What does your anger look like? I'll tell you, there's someone I love very much who is a kicker. He gets mad and he kicks things, and he's got a boot print in his freezer. He's got a boot print in his front door. He's got a boot print in his brand new truck. That's how he really deals with his anger. And that's, explosive. It's a version of violence. Those are things you have to be prepared to talk about. Very important. And did you have a telehealth CMP, Tim?
A telehealth? Are you talking about telehealth evaluation?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. But I would tell you that, regardless of, telehealth, for the mental health evaluation, what's also important is, being able to articulate. I went through, when I was going through, of course, talking with my coach again, but, being able to articulate, number one, I knew what type of mental health symptoms I had, right? But how do I bring that, like she said, to life for my family, right? So if I have obsessive rituals, right, where I had to go, check my locks and my cameras and I walk my perimeter, right? That's one of my PTSD symptoms. How do I just describe that, right? And that is exactly like I just did. I spend all day checking my locks, right? Checking my cameras. I do it through the night. That causes a strain on my family. My spouse is like, what are you doing? Why are you up walking stuff? So it's being able to tell your story, right? Not just talk your symptom, but tell the story of how that affects you, right? That's the important. If the CMP examiner doesn't hear, like Coach Jen said, if the CMP examiner doesn't hear something, they don't write it down, right? Or anybody during evaluation, if you don't say something and they don't write it down, it's not going to be in there. And that's going to cause a chance to either, be underrated because you didn't explain your symptoms. And that's key, is be uncomfortable and vulnerable and explain those symptoms, articulate them, explain your life, how that's happening, right? That's key. And that's where I got so much great information when I did mine, and it's important.
Right. Yeah. Being prepared and knowing exactly what they need to know from you, and then just cracking yourself wide open, leave it all in there. Make sure that you recover yourself afterwards. This is a necessary evil, and you are putting yourself through, just like you did at basic training or boot camp. You're putting yourself through something very difficult to improve your situation, right? So going to the CMP exam, telling the tough stories, those difficult truths, is your best opportunity for a favorable outcome.
Yeah, exactly.
And thank you for sharing your experience with regard to that step. Verge, I love to grab those shout outs out of our chat. Verge, thank you for all that you do. It is just so nice to know that there are special people like you understand. I did not expect anyone to understand. I want to give a shout out to our entire community. Okay. So as coaches, we have the privilege to spend time with, in every single one of our daily classes, veterans who get it, veterans who share, veterans who support other veterans. Our coffee with the coaches in the mornings is a camaraderie session, right? We're talking about things that are difficult. We're talking about things that we're celebrating. We've got newcomers every day, but we also have veterans who have hung with us for years that are in every single one of our classes. And all of our veterans partnered with our coaches who some are family members and caregivers of veterans, but so many are veterans who actually get it. We do understand, Verge. That's why we do what we do and why we are hosting these classes and spending our time with this community, our community. And if you haven't been on our Facebook mastermind group, I think it's for elite members joining our Facebook group and our Facebook mastermind group. There is so much support. And again, it's a community. You become friends with the veterans that are in the room and you realize how many actually get it. I didn't expect anyone to understand. That's what we do. That's what we do. And that's what the VACI community family is about.
And it's like going to the donut shop and hanging out with all your veteran friends in the morning and drinking coffee.
Did you say cops?
And
Did you say cops? It's like going to the donut shop and hanging out with all the cops?
No, I said, and getting my cup of coffee, but with all your veteran buddies, right? So, I mean, I was a cop at one point too, but yeah. Okay. So maybe I did that. That was an old time ago. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just, that catch up stuff, right? And just having that great community, and then knowing people that are expected to understand, right? And to be there, and provide support. So that is amazing. I love that part of the community. Really do love it.
These are great questions. Thank you guys for using the comment section and helping us with being able to address your questions and concerns. I see a good one from Troy, and I'm going to tell you, Troy, you really have a lot to unpack. Troy's statement is, I have filed 4138 statement in support of claim. I got denied for 4 claims with my intent to file 12/5/23. I was in the National Guard 79 to 82. That's where you have a lot to unpack. National Guard veterans have an entirely different ball of yarn to unwind. So my recommendation is to get with a coach and start unpacking. You have potential for success. It's a different because if your career, if your time was entirely National Guard, there's a different place to start to get your foot in the door. Reservists have a little bit of a different, full-time reservists that really didn't have a lot of active duty service, got a lot to unpack. So I would strongly recommend that you get with a coach and really start unpacking and putting together a solid strategy for success. There's a lot of intricate corners to navigate. And I'll tell you that you do have potential for success. You just have a little bit different pathway than federal service veterans.
Absolutely. And there's a key word I see in there, DI. Your DI told you to suck it up. So what I'm hearing is potentially you're on active duty. So during AIT or basic training, and that's key because that's active duty time, especially since you're National Guard. And I'll leave it at that. But yeah, link up with a coach because I think you've got something in there. So
yeah. Yep. And another key word is tinnitus. Listen, it may be only a 10% rating, but it is the key to open up the door. Brian Reese started at tinnitus and has been 100% service connected for years. And I have coached hundreds of veterans over the last 4 years that the key to success was tinnitus. And I'll follow that up with, not every veteran is appropriate for 100%. It's not in the cards for everybody, but if your foot in the door is tinnitus, kick that door in with your stinking tinnitus and let's go get it.
And if you were denied your tinnitus, again, like I said, if you're denied your tinnitus, then that's, again, talking with your coach, because if you were denied a claim for something, there are ways to be able to do it. Maybe there's some additional evidence that's needed that you didn't submit the first time. So, link it up with your coach and doing that, that's where they can, like Coach Jen said, they can do a deep dive into that to see, is that something that you can revisit, right? Because I guarantee you that if it was denied before, there's a way to revisit it.
John Sweeney, again, not every veteran is appropriate for 100%. I have had tons of veterans. We've had, full steam ahead, and we have landed at 94. We have landed at 94, a thumbnail away from 100%, but that's it. That's all they had the potential at that point to connect legitimately with their conditions. Now, there may be potential later in life as conditions degenerate, become worse, as additional secondaries tend to develop. There may be potential to get from 90 to 100 for those veterans, but 100% is not in the cards for everybody, and it doesn't seem fair. But I mean, doing your due diligence, using your overall health, getting with a coach to explore every potential nook and cranny of your health, and staying tenacious. Listen, if those knees, you jumped out of planes and you're not getting success with those knees and that back, stay at it. Stay at it. You never want to stop fighting for what you truly deserve. Yeah. Make sure that you're optimizing your healthcare. You're at 90%, your healthcare is covered through the VA. Those issues that in your heart are connected to service, make sure you're optimizing your healthcare to get those taken care of. Yeah, let the VA do what the VA does. Let's see. Tambra, is it too late to file before the changes? No, file. Yeah. Again, remember, this is just proposed. Nothing right now. The potential date of change for these changes is June of 2025. Tinnitus is on the chopping block. It is proposed to be taken away as a primary service connectable condition, rateable condition. So I am screaming from the mountaintops, and you'll see me standing on my roof sometimes just screaming. If you have tinnitus and you served, file it and stay at it, because once it goes away, a lot of potential for a lot of veterans goes away as well. This is a really significant key starting point for a lot of veterans. And if it goes away, again, it's only proposed at this point. If it goes away, then it's going to make it a lot harder for a lot of vets to get their foot in the door. So file.
Don't let that stop you. Yeah. I didn't file my claims, and everything comes back, right? So just file.
Amanda Mackey. This one's a little tough. I got a decision. It's not clear. Back pay is mentioned. Also, VA failure to assist. Now, what this tells me, the failure to assist, the duty to assist error tells me that there may be more to come. If the VA has identified that they missed a step, then I think you're kind of in standby to stand by. You want to wait for them to reach out to maybe order a new CMP exam, to maybe advise you that they're re-reviewing your records to fix that error. I would just reach out, call that 800 number, 800-827-1000, and ask them to decipher that document for you. Without looking at it, I can't tell you exactly what it is, but just based on you saying that duty to assist error has been identified, that tells me that at this point, you're just standing by to stand by. There's more to come. I can't say for sure without seeing it, but the duty to assist, that's kind of a code word for me.
Yeah, a good one.
John Richards, Navy, 75 to 89 used VACI. They got me to 100%. Congratulations, friend.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
They're always great. That's life-changing, right? That's that positive stuff you're looking at going into, always looking. We used to call it hunting the good stuff, right? Especially for that time of year. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Life-changing stuff.
Our friend Farrell, currently rating at 90%, working with Mary Lanzera. She's an amazing coach. You're in great hands. Just got denied for sleep apnea. Let me tell you, sleep apnea is the redheaded stepchild of the VA. They give it no love. They do not want to service connect. The more evidence you have that supports connection, secondaries, if it's not diagnosed on active duty, or you didn't have symptoms on active duty, they're going to be very resistant to successfully approving this for you. But you stay in the fight. If you have the medical evidence that supports the connection, drive it home. Stay in it. Do the HLR, do a supplemental claim, get a rebuttal letter on your nexus, drive it home. Stay in the fight with that evidence, because that medical evidence is going to give you the best likelihood of success. Sleep apnea is a bleep word. It's tough, but it's high value. So it's definitely, if you've got the science and an opinion that applies the science to your situation, drive it home. Stay with it. Fuel your tenacity. Let Mary keep you in the fight.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, if there's any questions that we didn't get to today, because I know we're running short on time, we will get back. The team, our background team, will get back and answer any questions that we might not have got to. So I don't feel like you're going to be left behind. So we will.
Oh, goodness. And we hit our hour. You guys, thank you for joining us. We wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Let's make 2025 your year for your claim. get Brian's new book, VA Claim Secrets. You can download it on Amazon. Brian's books they're full of secrets. If you didn't get any of them, get them all. You need the whole collection. I think it's a trilogy now.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for being with us. Tim, thank you. You've been amazing to host with. I told you it was going to go fast.
Absolutely. Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be talking soon.